What's going on, guys? My name is Mr. Hurricane, and I've thought about the topic of this video quite a bit the last couple of weeks, and today I wanted to make a video talking about it. And obviously, if you follow me, my videos, or anything, you know I'm a huge Vikings fan and a huge NFL fan. And obviously, my favorite team, the Vikings, are not having a very good season, and they're a 1-7 football team, the only team in the NFL that only has one win. They have the third worst record in the NFL, and so if the season ended today, they would be picking third overall like they were 2 years ago, which then traded down. But anyway, I wanted to talk today about mainly a fan's mindset regarding a bad team or a team that's underperforming, not so much what the players should be thinking. But I see a lot of it on Twitter. I'm followed by a lot of Vikings fans. I follow a lot of media outlets in the Twin Cities. And so I see a lot of opinions of Vikings fans. And obviously I put out my own. But anyway, I want to talk today about tanking, the idea of losing for the better, and just that whole mindset and concept regarding, really it could be any sport, but particularly I'm talking about my favorite team, the Vikings, and just the NFL in general, I guess. So anyway, like I said before, the Vikings are 1-7. They're having a terrible season after an awesome 10-6 campaign last year. Adrian Peterson stole the show. They had some big wins early in the year, like the one against San Francisco, that helped probably gain some confidence as they went on a 10-6 season and lost the first round of the playoffs to the Green Bay Packers. But anyway, sitting at 1-7 now, the team littered with injuries, an absolute mess at quarterback. I still don't think it's right to have this mindset of a fan of, I want my favorite team to lose so we can draft high and get a potential savior at quarterback or any position. I completely disregard that notion, and I don't even give it a second thought whatsoever. It's not valid to me, because the idea of tanking and your team losing for the better, I think, is a completely backwards concept. Obviously it is. Losing isn't good. Winning is good, but obviously losing is what helps you get a higher spot in the draft. It helps you pick before other teams, helps you have a chance to get the players you want before other teams can select them, but all that is a chance. You can mess up a draft pick anywhere in the draft. Let's go back 2 years, recent history. 2012 NFL Draft, number 3 overall, the Cleveland Browns select Trent Richardson. And then later in the first round, at number 22 overall, the Cleveland Browns select Brandon Weeden. That definitely saved their franchise, didn't it? The 28-year-old quarterback and the proposed top 5 running back of the future, Trent Richardson. Richardson is gone. They got a first-round pick for him, and now obviously, it looks like Brandon Weeden's going to be replaced now that he's been actually benched in favor of Seneca Wallace, Jason Campbell. But the idea of you should lose to have a higher draft pick is a really bad concept, and I don't think fans should have that demeanor when they talk about their football team or they watch them play on Sundays. And obviously the Vikings have played tonight, Thursday Night Football at the Metrodome, where they haven't won a single game this year. The only game they've won was in London, and they're playing against the Washington Redskins for the third primetime game in 4 weeks. And I'm still excited to watch this team. I love the Vikings. I love watching every single game. I find a reason to get excited before every game. And it's not because I think the Vikings can rattle off, 8 wins the rest of the way and sneak in a wild card at 9-7. I understand they're probably not going to make the playoffs unless something that's never happened before happens. But I still find reasons to get excited, and I don't want to see the team lose. I'm not going to root for the team to lose to get a higher draft pick. That is a backwards mindset, and I don't think it's valid whatsoever. Now, like I said before, you can screw up a draft pick or make a great draft pick anywhere in the draft, which is why my mindset is you should try to win and then make your draft picks count. It doesn't matter. Just because you pick high doesn't mean anything, and we as NFL fans, we know that. Any sports fan knows that. How many busts are drafted in the top 10 every year? How many draft busts are in the first round every year? The 49ers just gave up on one of them for another one. They traded A.J. Jenkins for John Baldwin. A pair of first-round busts in the last 3 years were swapped for each other. You can screw up a pick or make a great pick anywhere. I'm going to put a couple examples. Quarterback. Obviously the Vikings' biggest position of need with Christian Ponder, Matt Castle, and Josh Freeman on the roster. Now let's look at some of the more elite or the top quarterbacks in the NFL that have all won Super Bowls at some point. Drew Brees was drafted 2nd round, 32nd overall pick. Aaron Rodgers, who is in my opinion the best quarterback in the NFL, 1st round, 24th overall. Tom Brady, somewhere deep in the 6th round. Peyton Manning, number 1 overall. 3 of those guys were not even taken in the top 20 picks. That's not to say that there's never going to be a good quarterback taken in the top 20 picks, but the concept here is it's not where you draft, it's who you draft and who you decide to select. Do you think the Jacksonville Jaguars would go back if they could and take Russell Wilson over punter Brian Anger at 70 overall? Do you think the Minnesota Vikings, looking back, are happy that they selected Troy Williamson and Erasmus James, both higher than Aaron Rodgers back in like 2004, whenever that was? It's not where you draft, it's who you draft. It's about your front office and the decisions they make. It's about a lot of things, but it's not about just picking high and you're automatically going to get the best players. That's not how it works. Mathematically, you have better odds to get who you want if you draft higher, but this is not a math simulator here. This is not a lottery system. This is decision making. And now, I love the NFL draft as much as anybody else, but I will not even sit down and start watching a bunch of players or looking into mock drafts until, number 1, the NFL season is complete and the Vikings draft spot is concrete. And number 2, not until the bowl games at NCAA are over, because never know when injuries could happen or a guy's last college game is an absolute dud or something like that. But I wait until it's all said and done with, and then we have plenty of time, guys. Why worry about it now? We all yearn for the NFL season to come, the long summer of waiting for the Vikings to play again, or your favorite team. Why should I stop being excited 8 games into the season when there's 8 games left? I love watching football. I love the Vikings. The NFL season is short. I don't want it to be 18 games, by the way, but I'm going to enjoy every game the Vikings play, no matter who's playing at quarterback, no matter who's the tight end, no matter who's playing anywhere. Worry about the draft once draft season hits. Once the Super Bowl is complete and all the bowl games are finished, let's talk draft then. I'll be more than happy to talk about the quarterbacks that I like the most, or any player at any other position. Let's talk 6th rounders. How many of these guys are cut in training camp and only last a year or 2 in the NFL? Washington last year selected in the 6th round Alfred Morris, who became their starting running back and was one of the top rushers in the NFL last season. He was number 2 to Adrian Peterson. He wasn't a worse player because he was taken in the 6th round, obviously. All picking higher does is give you more options to choose from when you're drafting. It doesn't mean that you're going to automatically take better players, and there are some situations where drafting higher does get you in a better situation, like Andrew Luck. That's going to be talked about a lot in the comments, probably. Andrew Luck. Would the Colts be where they are today if they didn't lose all those games and were the worst team in 2011? Probably not, but that doesn't make it right. Andrew Luck is not the norm. He is not what usually comes out number 1 overall, the top quarterback. Certainly wasn't last year. E.J. Manuel, the only quarterback taken in the 1st round, then Geno Smith and a host of other players. It doesn't mean that just because Andrew Luck was great, doesn't mean it's okay to have this mindset to lose, in my opinion. I don't think it's ever okay, because the Vikings, what if they wanted to take Russell Wilson in the 1st round instead of Matt Khalil? What if they took Russell Wilson, drafted a tackle later? They would have had a pretty damn good quarterback. Russell Wilson's one of my favorite young quarterbacks, probably my 2nd favorite to Andrew Luck. Once again, it's about who you draft, not where you draft, and that's why I want the Vikings to win as many games as possible and then nail all the draft picks come the draft time in May 2014. That's all I want to see. The Vikings can make a pick in the 4th round next year that becomes a starter and a difference maker on defense. That would be absolutely awesome. And another thing I want to add, it's not always about the draft. I mean, the draft is a huge part of team building, getting better, but you got to remember, like, if you look at the 53-man roster, probably 30 to 40 of those guys at least you would think are going to be on the team next year. Don't you want to see those guys get better? Don't you want to see a guy like Robert Blanton step up? Or how about Chase Ford? He's going to be the 2nd tight end tonight because of Kyle Rudolph's injury. We're going to see John Carlson, who I'm not terribly fond of. But how about Chase Ford? If he gets an opportunity and makes a big play? What if somebody else can step in and make a big play like last week? It was A.J. Jefferson catching an interception. I don't know if he's going to be back next year, but it was good to see A.J. step up and make a big play late in the game when the team desperately needed one. I want to see guys who are hungry to still play and play hard. And I don't think it's incredibly wrong to look forward to next year with some players. Like, I look at some of the players on the roster like Cordero Patterson, Sharif Floyd. I believe Sharif Floyd's going to start next year at one of the defensive tackle spots. I'm looking forward to watching him play now to see what's going to maybe be coming in the future, but I think it becomes a problem when you want your favorite team to lose for draft spot rather than I want to see the team win because guys are stepping up and playing well. If the Vikings just tank the year and everyone plays like garbage for 2 months, how does it make the team better by drafting somebody? I don't think it does. And you could even go the in-between route and say I want the Vikings to lose all their games but play well and make it entertaining. To me, that's still wrong because there's a big difference between winning and losing. The Vikings played probably their first or second best game of the year against Dallas on last Sunday, and they lost. It was a much better game to watch than the game against the Giants or the game against the Packers, but they still lost. I was happier after the game because it was a better effort and a better showing from the team, but I still want to see them win. I want to see guys step up and help lead the team to victory. That's going to do a lot more than a couple guys getting some good stat sheets and losing efforts. Yes, I liked seeing the A.J. Jefferson interception with a few minutes to go in the fourth quarter, but I didn't like to see them let the Cowboys go right down the field and Marcus Sherrills get beat by Dwayne Harris with a game-winning touchdown. I want to see that play made. I want to see a game-winning play made. The A.J. Jefferson play was nice, but I want to see a win. The Vikings only have one win, and that one win was clinched when Everson Griffen sacked Ben Roethlisberger in London. Looking back as a 1-7 Vikings fan, can you honestly say that you wish that Everson Griffen didn't make that play and Roethlisberger helped the Steelers win the game? Everson Griffen made the play, Vikings won. That's what you want to see. And now this is one of the worst seasons in Vikings history, 2 years removed from one of the worst seasons in Vikings history. I know the Vikings are losing a lot of games, and I've looked back at the team record since I became a fan. I've watched more Vikings losses than I've watched Vikings wins. However, I still love watching the team. I still want them to win as many games as possible. And I even tonight, 1-7 against the Redskins, go get a freaking victory. I want to watch the Vikings kick some ass tonight. It might not happen, but I want it to happen. And then I'll worry about the draft come May. We're going to have plenty of time, guys, and it's going to last a long time, I promise. From the end of the Super Bowl until the draft, I'm afraid to see how many weeks, how many days that is. Thank God I'll have my PS4 to play in that meantime. But anyway, one more example I wanted to throw out there. Team building, whatnot. I want to look at the Green Bay Packers receiving core because I admired it for many years and how they continually had guys step up that were good and they had the deepest receiving core in the NFL. They're littered with injuries now. They still have guys stepping up, a lot in part due to Aaron Rodgers, but now he's hurt, so we'll see how guys play. But anyway, Jordy Nelson, James Jones, Randall Cobb, Greg Jennings, Donald Driver. All those guys are the second rounder later. It's not about where you draft somebody, it's about who you draft. And not all those guys are Packers anymore. Driver and Jennings are gone, but because the Packers drafted well, they're able to fix those holes with relative ease. And so I'll worry about the draft when the draft comes, but the draft is not here yet, so I want the Vikings to win games. Then when the draft comes, I want them to draft well in the first round, second round, third round, no matter where it is in the draft. You can make a good pick. It doesn't matter where you are. There are good players there. You just got to find them, take them, and harness their power. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Just something different today as I've wanted to make this video now for the last couple of weeks. Minnesota Dynasty probably tomorrow and Rams on Saturday. But have a great day, guys. Hopefully you have a good game tonight on Thursday Night Football. And I'll see you guys later.